But in a major new headache for Rishi Sunak, the Sun on Sun newspaper report that a handful of Tory MPs are in secret defection talks with Reform UK. Reform's leader, Richard Tice, star of GB News, of course, told the paper there is increasing desperation in the Red Wall. Some Red Wall Tories have been scoping us out about defecting through third parties. He goes on to say there is more than one Tory MP involved. A source close to Reform UK also predicts that if Nigel Farage re-enters party politics to campaign for the former Brexit party, then, quote, that trickle of Tory MPs talking about defecting could become a stream. Let's get the views now of tonight's newsmaker, former government minister, author and television personality Anne Widdecombe. Anne, you effectively defected a few years ago, having left the Tories to join Reform. Do you think one or two Conservative MPs will ultimately follow?
Well, let me just say I'm not privy to any of these conversations that are going on, so if you're hoping for me to name names, I can't. But what makes complete sense is that if you're, for example, a Red Wall Tory, you're not going to win on what the Tories are doing at the moment, whereas the Reform Party, which is, of course, evolved from the Brexit Party, actually does campaign for the sorts of things that those constituents are interested in, and also campaigns for things like common sense and proportionality, which used to be the watchwords of the Conservative movement and no longer are. So it would make a lot of sense for some of those MPs who are not going to hold their seats if they stand under the banner of Rishi Sunak to come where they might very well keep the seat.
And do you feel that Tory MPs are duty-bound to change party in order to stand up for their principles? For example, if you were still a sitting Conservative MP right now, would you be considering your position?
I might be considering my position, but I would not like to say, with my hand on the good book, that I would absolutely and definitely change, because I might well not. What sitting MPs have to consider are a lot of things. There's the loyalty between them and their party workers, sometimes built up over a large number of years, and they feel they could let those down. There is their loyalty to their colleagues who feel let down. There is all manner of pressure on you when you're an MP. But all I will say is that MPs do change parties. They cross the floor of the House of Commons. Churchill crossed it twice. They cross the floor of the House of Commons. They join other parties. Therefore, there is no reason on earth why MPs who have Reform's values shouldn't join Reform. But I would just explain, that there is a lot of pressure on you.
Now, Anne, as Britain's strictest head teacher, Catherine Birbalsingh, battles in court to ban prayers at school, is it time to keep religion out of the classroom?
Absolutely not. I mean, I cannot understand at the moment. I mean, Christianity has been virtually squeezed out, There's no longer an act of worship at an awful lot of school assemblies, unless they're religious schools. Children aren't taught scripture anymore. Then they're expected to understand things like Shakespeare and Milton without a clue about the biblical references. They're expected to be taught appreciation of art without a clue what the Renaissance portraits are actually showing, because they don't know the stories behind it. They're supposed to study medieval history without knowing anything about the church. Now, even if you are the most profound atheist, our country is Christian by heritage and culture. And I think it would be quite wrong to ban prayer, to ban acts of religious worship from schools.
Finally, Anne, a leading British cellist who performed at the nuptials of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex has said that Rule Britannia should be axed from last night of the proms. Your reaction?
Absolutely stupid. We've had this postulated before. It never finds favour with the public. It is part of the proms that the soprano sings Rule Britannia right at the end, and everybody joins in and loves it. Land of hope and glory. People are enjoying themselves doing that, and I see no reason why they shouldn't. No, I don't want to ban Rule Britannia, and in fact, there are places now at sea where we're trying to preserve the rights of shipping to move freely, where you might well say Rule Britannia.
Brilliantly put, Anne. What a treat to have you back on the show. I'm looking forward to Sunday already. My thanks to the television personality, former government minister and best-selling author Anne Widdecombe. Thank you, Anne. Look fabulous tonight, by the way. I'm going to put my sunglasses on next time. What a great debate. Your reaction, Mark, at gbnews.com.